Greetings, citizens, and thanks for tuning in to Nindie Nation. I'm Jeff, and today on episode 145, we're taking a look at every indie game hitting the Nintendo Switch through the week ending April 24th. You can find Nindie Nation on Twitter, come hang out with us on Discord, or check out the week's new releases with us right here on YouTube every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern during our Nindies at Night stream. Now, I've got an exciting announcement to make near the end of the episode, so please stick around, but that's way far away, and we've got to kick this thing off by first looking back at what we missed. These are the 5 Neglected Nindies that released since episode 144. Late last year, developer Fabraz, known best for their beloved 2D platformer Slimeson, jumped into the third dimension with Demon Turf. It's a 3D mascot platformer with an emphasis on parkour and a papercraft art style. The game received mixed reviews, but for the right people, it seems to deliver. Last week, in partnership with Platonic Friends, they shadow-dropped Demon Turf Neon Splash for $4.99. It's a shorter pseudo-sequel that focuses even more on speed-based parkour platforming, with an otherwise reduced scope. It's getting pretty good reviews so far, so if you don't want to drop $25 on the full game, but you really like nailing time trials like these, you just might dig Neon Splash. David Amato Fernandez really likes Metal Gear Solid. In fact, he likes it so much that he just straight up made his own that, at times, is indistinguishable from the series itself, granted with a bunch of solo developer jank you'd expect from a title published by Ultimate Games. 100 Fires: The Rising of Red Star is only $3 and has a couple of hours of content that, according to limited Steam reviews, isn't too bad if you know what to expect. Dave Spresso Studio, recently renamed to Devora Studio, has released the Coma series on the Switch before, and this week is back with a side-scrolling adventure called Scarlet Hood and the Wicked Wood, published by Head Up Games for $14.99. The story takes the premise of Wizard of Oz, but replaces the Land of Oz with the world of Little Red Riding Hood. It's a few hours long with branching paths and endings, and features a slick jazz fusion soundtrack and limited but decent reviews. Radon Break is a janky little Breakout clone that released by Entwickler X for $7 and doesn't look terrible, but also does nothing to stand out in a sea of similar clones on the eShop. And then we've got an interesting one that caused me to reach out to Cubic Games before writing up this segment. Beautiful Ukraine is the same build-your-own jigsaw puzzle game that they've released numerous times in the past, but, of course, this time, the pictures are replaced with scenery from Ukraine. The title is $4 with proceeds going to a couple of different charities, specifically those that will help those in Poland provide relief to their neighbors seeking refuge. I asked them about the profit margin and was told that no less than $2.80 from each purchase will go directly to charity, which makes sense if the other third would have to go to Nintendo for publishing costs. I'm not saying I recommend this, but if you're jonesing for some digital jigsaw puzzles and want to support a good cause, I guess this isn't your worst option. But speaking of your worst option, these next 4 titles rank just above eating a fistful of worms. Jump Into the Plane reminds me of Pain for the PS3, where you use a slingshot to fire people out into ridiculous scenarios, but in this game, you use a slingshot to fire a car into a plane. Except it looks like garbage because it comes from Boombit Games. Prison Games, named because everything they release should be a crime, dropped ABC Search With Me, and I'm searching, but nope, can't find anything worth your time. One of the latest Nindie Nevers, McPepper Games, has Animal Babies Puzzle Preschool Animals Puzzles game for kids, with images that are so inconsistent, it's likely to teach children that baby chicks are larger than an elephant. And then, after learning about my upcoming title, Nindie Nation's Find JPEGs in a Pile of JPEGs, 2, Ocean Media beat me to the punch with Clutter 9 Extreme Clutter Extreme. I mean, I see what they did there, but it doesn't make sense. Wait, did they really do this 9 times? At least the first few look interesting though, right? Demon's Turf has a pretty big fan base, and I'm very curious how that Metal Gear clone is, though probably not for the right reasons. Sound off below if you're picking any of these up, and let's turn to the week ahead. These are the 20 new releases hitting the Nintendo Switch through Sunday, April 24th. Oddly enough, there are no games releasing on Monday or Tuesday this week, which means we get to kick off the week with 420, bro! Fitting then that the one game releasing on this, our Lord's Day of Chillaxin, is by Chili Dog Interactive. I mean, chili dogs sound like stoner food, right? Maybe? Sonic likes them.
Why, look! A chili dog!
What were we talking about? Katana releases for $6.99. Oh, 69! We got 69 on 420, go! Alright, what the hell is this game? Oh my god, it's got a cat pun too? I think I'm gonna have a heart attack over here. Let's see. It's a game where sentient vegetables try to take over the world, and you play as a cat samurai that must defeat said sentient vegetables by playing some kind of match 3 puzzle game. Because indie games. Anyone else feel a little like a deflated balloon after that last part? Alright, the big Thursday drop is pretty much everything we're going to cover this week with a whopping 18 releases, so let's do this thing. Zero Uno Games channels their inner Jack Black with Metal Tales Overkill for $14.99. The god-named Cuck, think they thought that through, or is possessing the guitar gods and metalheads, turning them into zombies, and wrecking shop. You, a metalhead with a guitar that kills things, must save the world by venturing through a top-down 3D world of procedurally generated levels, roguelike mechanics, and RPG elements! It's got 2-player co-op, an original metal soundtrack, and looks to have a good deal of content. I'm not the biggest fan of the art style, and is it just me, or is this game, like, super dark, as in, like, hard to see dark? But hey, tongue-in-cheek trifectas are always worth trying for me, so maybe we will. Buka Entertainment, a fairly new publisher on the eShop, releases a gritty fantasy deck-building roguelike with Deck of Ashes Complete Edition for $24.99. The original game hit PC in 2020, meeting mediocre reviews, mostly due to weird presentation and a lack of content, so it'll be interesting to see if the complete edition addresses that, because the reviews I found did like the core concept. There is battling, of course, but there's also some resource and building management that happens at your camp, which is a neat touch. I'm not sure about this one, but if you like grotesque fantasy stuff and card games, it might be one to keep your eye on. Lumina Awesome Games teams up with Wired Productions to release Lumote the Master Mote Chronicles for $19.99, and this ethereal 3D platformer is one of those games that, unfortunately, reminds me of just how long in the tooth the Switch hardware is. If you're watching the video right now, I'm going to do my best to find some footage from Steam or another console's gameplay. You'll see the beautiful neon world that, even without being super into this genre, is really drawing me in. And now, we'll flip over to the Switch.
That's no good.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it feels like it loses all of its luster, you know? I don't fault the developer though, I don't know that anyone could keep this game's charm. Cool game? Probably, I'm certainly interested. But on the Switch? Unfortunately, I'm gonna say pass, and how about that Switch Pro? Stellar Knoll, a decade-old Indonesian developer, releases their first console title this week through Freedom Games as Anuchard launches for $14.99. This game looks special. It looks like a charming action RPG, and it is, what with a dungeon that you constantly revisit, and its mechanic where you're rebuilding a town with resources and people you rescue from said dungeon. But have you noticed what's going on with the combat? It's like a mechanically deeper Breakout or Brick Breaker. You have this bell that you swing, and you aim it to hit various items or magic spells towards whatever it is that you want to hit. Some of the bosses look like classic Breakout levels, but otherwise it really is taking a mechanic and just plopping it into an entirely different genre, and then of course molding the game around this new juxtaposition. In some ways, I'm reminded of Creature in the Well, though it looks like much more of an adventure than a collection of puzzle rooms like that game was. I think it looks great, and I'm definitely going to try to get a copy of it for Nindies at Night, so stay tuned if you want to see more of Anachard. Oh, and The Last Friend apparently comes out this week, except we covered it 2 weeks ago. It still looks cool, it still has a big meaty demo. I guess it just had a last-minute delay or something. Is there still interest in seeing this one on Nindies at Night, or is it safe to assume that most games with a demo probably don't need to be streamed since you can check it out for yourself? Let me know. Oh, here we go. This is the stuff I want to see. Adjust your volume, citizens, because Revita is a side-scrolling action platformer with procedurally generated levels, roguelike mechanics, and RPG elements! And after completely missing this game during the past year while it was on Steam Early Access, I am so glad we all get to check it out on the Switch. As a direct comparison, it falls somewhere between Neon Abyss and Scourgebringer, as a 2D world where you start at the bottom of a metro station and work your way up a tower. Along the way, you'll see shops, boss floors, shortcuts, and all the stuff you'd expect from a trifecta. There's mention of a currency system that has you trading your health for various upgrades, and I could see that turning some of us off, but it seems like it's largely optional. Early access reviews are very positive, and with support from Dear Villagers on PC and Plug-in Digital on Switch, I'm feeling pretty optimistic about this one. Looks like a perfect game for Nindies at Night, so this will be another that I hope we can check out together when it releases this Thursday for $16.99. Rogue Games, the publisher founded by Matt Casamassina and other IGN founders, has a knack for finding little indie games that are focused on fast-paced, skill-based action. And similar to how I feel about Devolver Digital, not all of their games are up my alley, but I can rest assured that they're all at least quality titles. This week they publish Super Mega Zero by Silkworm and drop it with a 50% discount for just $4.99. As a bright pixel art tough-as-nails platformer, the speed at which the game moves looks really fun, and in addition to precision platforming, it also throws in occasional shoot-'em-up stages, which also look really fun. I'm definitely digging the vibes of Super Mega Zero, and $4.99 seems like a very generous launch price. So if you're interested, I'd say it's a safe bet that it'll be worth it. And then we've got Rainbow Yggdrasil, an isometric, tile-based dungeon crawler that released on mobile stores 2 years ago by Otorokobo. It doesn't look very interesting at all, and when they ported it to Switch, they literally just took the vertically oriented screen and slapped a bunch of ugly UI elements on the sides. That, combined with truly abysmal translation, leads me to recommend saving your $12.15 for something that looks like it had a little more effort put in. The same goes for Clubator, who releases Orbit.Industries for $17.99. It's some kind of base-building game where you manage resources and economic circumstances as you build and maintain a space station. It might be cool, but it runs on Unreal Engine 4, which is rarely a good thing for Switch performance, and just take one look at this game's interface, and tell me that doesn't look like an instant migraine if you're playing in handheld mode. Jandusoft has been MIA for a while, and while I'm not exactly saying I've been missing them, Bob, Galactic Wars EX looks like a competent 8-bit shooter. Think Galaga, but turned on its side. It's $7.99, and while there doesn't appear to be anything wrong with it, I just don't see anything to get excited about. Do you like deck-building games? Do you like Magic the Gathering? Did you ever play and enjoy Faeria? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, then you're probably going to dig Roguebook because it's got elements of all of those things and is built by people responsible for all of those things. It comes by way of Abercam and Nacon and received generally positive reviews on PC last year, with praise for its storybook visuals and unique approach with 2 customizable heroes that play off each other in multiple interesting ways. It's $24.99 and not really my style, so that's where the story ends for me. But if you're picking up what Roguebook is putting down, know that it is yet another release this week that comes complete with procedurally generated levels, roguelike mechanics, and RPG elements! If you follow Nindie Nation on Twitter, you'll know that over the past couple of weeks, I've been itching for a hack-and-slash action RPG, and I've really been struggling to find one to scratch that itch. While the fine folks over at Alpha Wing and Playism seem to have just the thing with Samurai Bringer, which launches for $9.99. Just look at this game. How cute is it? You play as a samurai, naturally, and gameplay-wise, it appears to be a 3D isometric take on Dynasty Warriors, complete with chibi characters built with just the chonkiest of pixels. There's super deep character progression, and the general structure has you hunting down over 100 warriors from Japanese folklore, with each dropping weapons and abilities that you can then use for yourself. This looks like a great button masher to play while just chilling on the couch, and I am totally sold. This one is going to be on Nindies at night, so make sure to stop by if you want to see more, as Samurai Bringer is also filled to the brim with procedurally generated levels, roguelike mechanics, and RPG elements! But we're not done with samurais yet, because Ganryu 2 Hakuma Kajiro, wow, I did that on my first try, is dropping for $19.99. If you recall from a couple of weeks ago, the team at Just for Games developed and released Andro Dunos 2, a sequel to a 1992 Neo Geo game. And apparently, not only was it very well received, it kicked off a new series where this team is giving this treatment to a lot of long-forgotten franchises. And that's the case here with Ganryu 2 being a sequel in the style of Shinobi 2 and 3 as a side-scrolling exploration platformer where you hack, slash, dash, and wall jump your way across a feudal Japan castle in a presentation that looks incredibly true to its inspired era. I want to check this game out too, that's for sure, and while we're running out of slots on Nindies at night, this is likely going to be another I add to the lineup. And then instead of going back in time, PlayStage Interactive takes us to the far-flung future with Neon Lore, a first-person exploration narrative for $5.99. With no fail states, you're given the freedom to explore as you like, meeting characters, solving puzzles, and learning about the story and world through a slightly more chill take on the cyberpunk genre. Anyone interested in this one? It looks fairly simple, but it also looks kinda interesting. Fitting for the episode I'm recording on Easter Sunday, the Fat Bouncing Bunny is back for the third week in a row, as Daku releases Rotund Zero for $1.99. Much smaller in scope, this game is developed with the look and feel of a Game Boy or Game Boy Color game, while maintaining the same bouncing platformer approach as the others in this series. If you've considered these games in the past, Zero is billed as a cheap way to get introduced to the series, so if you've been on the fence, maybe this is a good place to start. Starting your journey in the lowest circle of hell and slowly working your way up to the gates of hell might be how I feel when sifting through the Nindie no-nos, but in this case, it's the premise for Evasion from Hell, a first-person platformer from Epic Games. For $10, this doesn't do anything we haven't seen before, and when the translations are so lazy that even the game's title itself makes no grammatical sense, I have to wonder about the level of effort in this one as well. And finally, on Thursday the 21st, Thryg House Game Studio, a small team from Wales, releases an absolutely adorable little game all about helping little dragon creatures find happiness. For $23, Dragon Cafe follows a young dragon who delivers desserts to the residents of her town by learning what they like and completing simple minigames. It's a family-friendly, story-driven game with beautiful hand-drawn artwork that looks to comfortably deliver an uplifting, laid-back experience. We've got 2 releases on Friday, and then we'll tackle the week's garbo. And if you saw Rotund Zero and thought,
Yes! Game Boy-style games are just what I'm looking for!
Then you're in luck because Two Boon Games and Red Deer Games are releasing Bit Orchard Animal Valley for $6.99. If you've ever wondered what something like Animal Crossing would have looked like on the original Game Boy, that's pretty much what you got right here. You live in a village and run an apple orchard, which you'll expand as you sell your wares to the townsfolk. What a fun idea! I hope if one of you citizens pick it up, you'll let me know how it is. And last up for the new releases, we round out the week as usual with a $5 Ratalaika release. Castle Formers by Inkeye looks like it has a really fun gameplay loop. With side-scrolling pixel art, you manage a castle where, by day, you explore, gather resources, and upgrade your castle's defenses, and by night, you manage all of those defenses while battling waves of monsters that are trying to invade. So basically, it's a tower defense game, but it throws management and simple combat into the mix to make something a bit outside the genre's norm. We've got a lot to recap, citizens, and we've got to get to the deals too, but before we do that, there are a lot of garbage titles on tap this week. And here at Nindie Nation, we cover every weekly release. So, in the essence of time, let's do a Nindie No-No lightning round. Cosmic Break Gun & Slash could be a fun action RPG about mechs, but the level of jank, high price, and pitiful track record of Cyberstep tells me otherwise. Regista keeps making Windows 95 escape room games, and this week's includes cats that act like humans to an incredibly unsettling extent in Japanese Neko-sama Escape the Old Inn. Kairosoft published their mobile time waster again, calling this one Burger Bistro Story, so skip right over that one. Gamazumi, underage anime girls, you know the drill. Ooh, I might leave that in. Sakura Angels claims to throw a wrench into the mix because this time, I don't know, you f*** angels or something. East Asia Soft has one of their most deliberately pervy games we've seen in a long time, with In the Mood, which fuses a Bust-A-Move clone with young anime girls who orgasm when you score points. And just so we're clear, no, being good at lame puzzle game clones is not something that will help you score. 8-Ball Clash is Crappy Pool by Cubite Interactive. Horror Stories is some kind of hide from the monster game set in a top-down perspective by Random Spin Games. Wizard Mike is that mobile game that you always see ads for online and you look at it and say,
who the hell actually plays these games?
And with its release by Simplicity Tomas Dirac, you can confidently say, not me. PixArt's Shout-Out Galaxy Shooter and Mick Pepper Games is really earning a spot as one of the worst shovelware monkeys because they've squatted down, put their hand under their butt, and shout out two things that they are now throwing at the eShop wall, with Princess and Fairy Tales Jigsaw Puzzles puzzle game for kids, and Funny Car Wash Trucks and Cars game garage for kids and toddlers. But hey, otherwise we've had a fantastic week, haven't we? Demon Turf, Katana, Metal Tales, Anuchard, Revita, Samurai Bringer, Ganryo 2. There's a ton releasing this week. So many so that I don't even know what we're going to cover on Nindies at Night. Let me know down in the comments what's grabbing your attention and which games you would like to see on stream this Thursday. Now that we've looked at what's coming new to the eShop, let's take a look at the deals. These are the 6 Nindie deals at their lowest prices ever, on sale through at least April 25th. Well, all of them except this one, which expires on April 21st. But if you're looking for a great brain teaser and one of the most beloved indies of all time, there's no better place to turn than Fez, while it's 30% off for just $10.49. As one of the last great indies to finally make its way to the Switch, we got the best version of Fez right around this time last year, complete with all of its 2D platforming meets 3D puzzle solving in tow. If you've never given this game a shot, now is the best time yet. But the game I'm really excited about, and something I've been teasing for a while, is Mighty Goose, Nindie Nation's number 3 game of 2021, which is currently half off for just $9.99. On April 19th, it's receiving a big free update, adding a whole new area to explore with new weapons, vehicles, and enemies in tow. This update should answer the only complaint I had about Mighty Goose, being that it was just a bit on the short side. Otherwise, this bombastic action game that blends Mega Man X and Metal Slug is so damn fun, I can't remember the last time I played through a game 3 times before moving on. I can't wait to dive back in myself, and if you keep your eyes peeled to the Nindie Nation YouTube channel, at some point this week, you'll find the very first episode of Nindie Network, where I interview the designer and creator of Mighty Goose, Richard Limbs of Blast Mode. Go check out the game, look out for the interview, and go have a honkin' good time with both. Shing! This game just keeps getting cheaper. And I gotta tell ya, at 80% off, it should be a crime not to pick it up while it's $3.99. This so-called Brawler 2.0 plays like a traditional brawler with 4 hot swappable characters and a full multiplayer suite, and tells a hilarious story through excellent voice acting. By default, you'll be thrust into their innovative direction-based control scheme, but if you don't like it, you can swap to old-fashioned button mashing at any time. Go get Shing while you can. This one is truly wonderful. But if you didn't get your fill of run-and-gun action with Mighty Goose, how about 4 classic entries in the genre, most of which have yet to be released on modern platforms? The wizards at Factor 5 have partnered with Ratalaika to release Turrican Flashback, and boy, if you miss 16-bit action games, this package is one that you should not miss. At 60% off, $11.99 makes it today's priciest entry, but it includes 4 games, tons of updates and modern options, and more explosions than you could ever ask for. Let's wrap up with a couple of cheap indies, okay? Both of which have been featured quite a bit on Nindie Nation because they're a great fit for most gamers. If you like the feeling of making things fit perfectly, Packmaster is the game for you. It's like playing Tetris in real life, trying to fit items into a suitcase in a weird art imitates life, imitating art sort of way. And at just $1.99, a 60% discount, it's a great way to blow a few minutes or get sucked in for hours. And finally this week, Red Siren was this dumb little game I picked up on a whim last year, and even though it's been around for a couple years now, I was really taken by it. It's a mobile game that was ported to the Switch, and all you do is pick a level, fly left and right blowing things up, and then take the currency you earn and upgrade to bigger guns and better ships so that you can go blow up the next thing. I've put well over a dozen hours into this game, and if you're looking for a quick, simple gaming fix, check it out while it's 75% off for just $2.49. Phew! That was a big week, huh? Sound off below with what you're picking up, and let me know if there's anything we missed. As I mentioned, keep your eyes peeled to the channel, and please help promote the first episode of Nindie Network when it goes live later this week. The goal here is to have 2 videos per month, though it may be slow to start, with interviews of developers who have cool stories to share. I'm not going to give away who's coming up next, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be excited. So please, help make Nindie Network a success, and there will be a lot more to come in the future. Don't forget to follow Nindie Nation on Twitter for my inane ramblings, and for great discussion or terrible meme sharing, come hang out with us on Discord. The links to both are in this episode's description. I'm not sure if anyone else has noticed, but we've been getting a lot of exciting shadow drops recently, or games just announced and then released a few days later. That's because of the indie world that we were supposed to have until Nintendo canceled it because of a little pansy from the KGB who decided to start bullying people. Russian warship, go f*** yourself. I want to play Advance Wars. Anyways, in the coming weeks, we've got the Stanley Parable, Bug Snacks, and a couple others that I've certainly got my eye on, like Transaruby and Parkasaurus. But that's all for future episodes, citizens, and we're all done for today. Thanks so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing Nindie Nation with others. Until next week, I'm Jeff. This has been Nindie Nation episode 145. And remember, no matter what type of game you're looking for, Nindie Nation will be right here to help you find just the thing to keep your Joy-Cons synced.